Assalamualaikum. This is Sazneen Jahan from University Selangor, a Comnet organization that is Center for Community Engagement. Today we have organized a free training session of ICT training based on how to create a website using Bootstrap. So today basically is our second session, Introduction to CSS, that I have used in my Bootstrap website. So before we go to the Bootstrap website designing the website using Bootstrap, first of all, we need to know the basic structure of the Bootstrap website. So CSS is one of them. So today I'll teach on the overall introduction on CSS that I have used in Bootstrap. So I'm very glad that my organization, Comnet, Center for Community Engagement, has organized this ICT training for the students of IT background. So I would like to welcome all of our participants for joining this event. Now, our director of Comnet, who has organized this ICT training session, has sent us a welcoming speech. So now let's hear from him.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you to the organizer who have tried to organize ICT training. Let's design a website using Bootstrap. First of all, I would like to express my congratulations to our beloved instructor, Ms. Sazneen Jahan, who is very committed to provide a training module to make sure this program success. To the participant who took the time to follow this training, hopefully you'll be able to learn new and useful knowledge, inshallah. And on behalf of University Selangor, UNICEL, especially our unit, Center for Community Engagement, ComNet, we would like to say our commitment in community education so that more children, youth, and also senior citizens can explore new knowledge and do something for their community. So from this event, of this program, we really hope that you can apply to your own community, your own organization or society to develop their own website, inshallah. So finally, I wish you a happy study and see you again in the future. I hope you enjoy to learn about programming using Bootstrap. Inshallah, Ms. Sazneen will teach you, will guide you. If you have any question or problem, you just ask Ms. Sazneen. They will help you, inshallah.
Thank you to our director of Comnet for his valuable speech. So now we can get started. Our today's training event, that is Introduction to CSS based on the Bootstrap website. So now we can start. So basically, so today our session is introduction to CSS. So first of all, I will give a brief description about the CSS. So actually, why we should learn HTML and CSS? Because there are so many reasons behind this. Because actually, when you want to develop a system, first of all, you need to design the website first. You need to design, like there are so many colors combination. So before you proceed to the objective, before you proceed to the logic, the system, first of all you need to know the designing the website that has used HTML and CSS. And also HTML and CSS are the frameworks that used to build websites. So if you can understand how they work together, you are much better of when it comes to design, marketing, or business or other professions. And you don't need to be an expert, but being able to understand how to utilize these languages can help you build an optimized and user friendly website for your business. So uh, you can also use this HTML and CSS for your business also. So you can use HTML and CSS for your business also, if you want to um, create a company for your own, or if you want to involve in a company for your own. So you have to create a website for your company, because you have to promote your products, you have to promote the other customers, so that other customers will know about your company or your organization. So that you need to establish, or you need to create a website for your business. So so actually, in that way also you should learn HTML and CSS. But if you purchase a website for your business, that will be very costly. So if you know, then it will be easier for you, and it will save your money also. And if you do not know the basic and the fundamental or foundation that will allow you to the bigger things, uh, or if you do know the basic and we have the foundation that will allow you to do the bigger things. And though we have many websites platform like WordPress or e-commerce sites like Shopee or Lazada make it pretty point and click, but there are powerful applications for the ability to custom build the website that you want to need. And if you are trying to start a business, as I already said, that will save your money if you do it by your own. If you create your website by your own, and HTML CSS are a great tool to have when creating your websites. And having the knowledge will save you money while allowing you to make a website your own, so that we should know the HTML and CSS. So and also it will have the knowledge to build and understand the fundamentals uh, of the web. You will have, and you have got an entrepreneurial spirit, or know someone that does. You will have the ability to create a unique website if you know HTML and CSS. And you can be able to learn other languages or other coding languages easier and faster. And you can also make money, as I already said, and it will also save your money. So so now we will go on to the introduction of the CSS. So what is actually CSS? CSS actually stands for Cascading Style Sheets, that used to design a website. Without CSS, website cannot be attractive website. And CSS used in HTML with three ways, that is CSS and HTML, and both basic step to create website CS5 that describes how HTML elements are to display on screen or in other media. And CSS also save your money, save you a lot of work, and it can control the layout of multiple web pages at all style sheets that are stored in CSS files. So basically, without the CSS, your website will not look nice. Without the CSS means there is no color, there is no design of the colors, there is no layout. So you cannot differentiate the layout inside the web pages. So CSS is basically very important. And 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 these cascading style sheets, fondly referred to as CSS.css, that handles the look and feel part of a web page. And using CSS, you can control the color of the text, the style of fonts, the spacing between paragraphs, how columns are sized and laid out, what background images or colors are used, as well as a variety of other effects. And CSS is the language we use to style an HTML document, and this CSS describes how HTML elements should be displayed. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheet. The typical CSS file is a text file with an extension. So if you want to save your CSS file, so you have to put the c.css or style.css. So it will declare the CSS file. The extension is the CSS file. And CSS contains a series of commands or rules, and their rules tell the HTML how to display in the web page. There is so many benefits of CSS, like it separates structure from presentation, provides advanced control of presentation, easy maintenance of multiple pages, faster page loading. It will do the faster page loading if you use CSS in your website, and better accessibility for disabled users, and easy to learn. CSS is actually very easy to learn. So that is, so actually, who creates and maintains CSS? HTML is actually not able to do certain things on its own. It can be very limited. For example, what if you wanted to different color links on one page? A good example of this is a this is actually the amazon.com. You will see many different color hyperlinks on the same page. CSS actually do these things. HTML cannot do this, and this is just the starting. So if you want to display your content in a web page very nicely or very attractively, so you have to use the CSS. One of those who developed the language for the web is to separate the content, the words on the page from the style of the page, like font colors, etc. So while not a final answer to this problem, developers created CSS to manage the style of a web page to HTML that could handle the content. So basically, HTML CSS is very needed for the HTML structure to display the content into a web browser. So now we will talk about the CSS. So one of the problem with HTML pages is that they contain they contain the content as well as the style or appearance of a web pages. For example, you frequently see front color. So inside the quotation is red, and then B tag. So this tag in HTML code, so these tend to appear many times in the same page. In addition, HTML is not able to do certain things on its own. It can be very limited. A good example is actually amazon.com. You can Google it, the amazon.com. So you will see how CSS, how they use the CSS. So CSS actually, the style sheets can save a lot of work, like styles in regular HTML defines how HTML elements are displayed, just like the font tag and the color attribute. Style sheets enable you to control the appearance and layout of all the pages in your site using one file. This helps you to change the whole site just by editing a single CSS document, and this can save days of work for a big site. And then multiple styles will cascade into one. Style sheets allow style information to be specified in many ways. So style can be listed inside a single HTML element, inside the head element of an HTML page, or in an external CSS file. Even multiple external style sheets can be referred inside a single HTML document. However, all the style cascade into each other. So your HTML page will use all of them in a certain order. So like, this is the website I have created using Bootstrap. So this is the Bootstrap website. Here I have used HTML because HTML is very, very important for you, for your website structure. So here you can see there are so many color combination, so many color or layout. So here I have used the CSS. So without CSS, this web page will be look like black and white, because there will be no color, there will be no cascade styling. So that's why CSS is very important. So without CSS, you also uh, cannot put the images also. So CSS is very important. So now the cascading order, what style will be used when there is more than one style specified for an element, HTML elements. So there are many sources of style, from external documents to inline code like font text, etc. So all styles cascade or all fall into one virtual style sheet. If there is more than one style for an element, the one closer to actual HTML code will be used. So the HTML, the style and the order that are used are follow four types of styling, that is browser default, external style sheet, internal style sheet, inline style, that is inside the HTML element. All this point will, all you should be sure is that there is a way to take the style out of the HTML code and keep it in a separate sheet. So you can leave the style in your HTML code if you need to, and style sheet can make developer frustrated if used correctly. Now we will talk about the CSS syntax. What is actually CSS syntax? The goal of this lesson, actually, there is so much to learn about CSS, and it could be whole course by itself. uh, by the end of this introduction, you should be able to understand the basic of concept of CSS, be able to use CSS in a website for all style, know where to get information about using CSS. And the CSS syntax is made up of three parts, that is a selector, a property, and a value. This is the syntax of the CSS file. So there is a selector, there is a property, and there is a value. And selector actually will talk inside the selector there will be property and the value. And the selector is actually normally the element or tag you wish to define, and the property is the attribute you wish to change, and each property can take a value. And the property and values are separated by column colon and surrounded by curly braces. And there's an example of redefining the body tag. So the body tag consists of with color, that is the value, and the tag above would change the color of the body, the background to black. So if you put if you put inside the body green color or blue color, so that the body will change into that color, specific color. So if another color like red were specified inside the body tag, that color red would be used if you want to display the content in red color. So now if the value of a style is multiple words, put the quotes around the value, like p tag. Like you will inside the p tag there will be property, there will be declaration, there will be value. So see how the quotes are around sans serif. So this tag actually will make all text between p tags that use the fonts. And you can put more than one style in a tag, just separate styles with a semicolon, so that you can add so more style inside the CSS file. And here is an example. So basically this is color blue. So basically the color is actually the property and blue is the value, because we want to display the color into blue color. So blue is the value, and property color is the declaration of the blue color. So and then there is a font size, so font is actually the property, font size is actually the property, and the value is the 12px, because this is the size, font size. So size or the attribute will be the value, and the styling will be the property. So to make it more legible, you can list the style on separate lines, so that there will be no changes. So you can put the p tag, and inside the p tag you will declare it. You will declare the color, you will declare the size, so like this. So we have to quote like this. And then the connecting to CSS, connecting to your CSS uh, connecting to your CSS is connecting to the style actually. So there are three ways to connect to your style, that is external style sheet, internal style sheet, and the internal style sheet is inside the head tag, and inline style sheet is inside the HTML element. So connecting to the style that is inline, the first we will review um, in inline style, that is inside the HTML element. This means that the style goes inside the HTML tag. And then here is an example, that is p tag. starting from p tag. Inside the style, we will declare the values. uh, we will declare the values and the property, like this one. So like this one. So you have to follow this one. This is the declaration. So value, after the property there will be value. You cannot put the value before the value before the property. So you must have to follow this structure. So like this. So color is red. So color here, color is an a property, and red is the value. Here font family is the property and Arial is the value, because we want to display the font in Arial size, in Arial font size. And this is some text. This is the actually displaying content. This will be displayed to your content. So this can be useful, but the style is still in the HTML page. So this is basically what you have done in HTML. So basically this is the HTML and this is the style sheet for CSS. Then here is another example that is connecting to style. That is internal style sheet. So how we can write down the internal style sheet? So here, this is the head. So after the head tag, you can style your CSS file starting style tag. So you just type the style. So inside the type, you will just type the text slash CSS. So that is the internal style sheet. So that you don't need to save a CSS extra CSS file. You don't need to save the individual CSS file. You can do all the things in the internal style sheet of the HTML. So here H2, H2 is the heading 2. So color is the property and Sienna is the value, and the color is also the property, and green is the value. Now we will just close the style tag. Now you will just close the head tag. So this is actually the internal style sheet, because you don't need to save the .css file. You can do the CSS inside the HTML body also, inside your .html file. So if you put this style tag in the head of the HTML page, this style can be used for all p and heading 2 tag on the page. So we have the another style sheet, that is external. An external style is ideal when the style is applied to many pages. When an external style sheet, you can change the look of entire website by changing on file, and each page must link to the style sheet using the link tag. So the link tag goes inside the head section of your web pages that uses the style sheet. So head tag, after starting the head tag, you will start the link tag. You will start the link tag. So inside the link tag, there will be style sheet, and there will be the type of text slash CSS. So that is the internal style sheets extension, and then href, and then mystyle.cs. So this is how we have to use the external style sheet. And this line is actually exactly the same for almost all your style sheets, like links, except for the name of the CSS file, so that you don't need to create the another CSS file like .css. Now the connecting to the style external style sheet. How do you write an external CSS file? You just simply go to the text editor. So like I do everything. I do the CSS, I do the HTML in the Visual Code Studio. So you can download the Visual Studio from the Google for the text editing. For the text editor, I'm using the Visual Code Studio because this is more latest version, more than the Notepad. You can also use the Notepad. Also, you can also use the Sublime text editor. There are so many There are so many software for the text editor of to execute your code to HTML web page, web browser. So I'm using the Visual Code Studio here. So first of all, so this is, I already explained this one. This color is actually the property and red is the value, and then the p tag. So this is how we will how we want to display the content. So we want to display the content in green color, and then we have the font family. So our font family is the Arial. So this is the another property or another declaration of CSS file, and this is the entire contents of the CSS file, nothing else. And after typing this code, you just save it as my style.css and put it in the same folder as your web page. And it is very important that the CSS file name in with .css. So like here, I will just save the file style.css. So this is our HTML body. These are HTML code, and this is our CSS file. So here we will do the CSS. So after end of our, before end of our ICT training, I will show you how we can design a website using CSS. So basically, I will design this one, this website. This is the front page of the website. So this is actually using CSS, fully CSS. So later on I will design this one for you to better understanding how we can use the CSS. So this is very important to save your CSS, all the CSS file into .css. So then next you need to link your HTML file to your CSS file. Use the link tag to your HTML file as shown in the next slide. I'll show you. And connecting to the CSS 1.html with the link to CSS. Later on, I will explain about this. So here, this is the another connecting CSS coding. So now we will talk about the CSS class attribute. With the class attribute, you can define different styles for the same element. For example, look at the msn.com and count how many different color hyperlinks they has. And for example, suppose you would like to have two types of paragraphs in your document, one right alignment paragraph and one center alignment or center aligned paragraph. To be even more powerful, you can also leave the tag name in the selector to define a style that can be used by many elements instead of p center p tag, that is p center text align center. You can use the following line for many tag, like for p tag h2 h3 etc. So dot center, inside the center you will put the text align center. So that is the property declaration property and the value. You can call a class in the same way as before. This class would be in the CSS file. Dot center, that is text align center, and your HTML file would call the center, that is class, for any tag using the class attribute, since your CSS file did not associate it with a particular tag like body. So h3 class, we want to display this content in center. So you, in the quotation, you will just put the center, and this header will be center aligned. So this will be displayed in the center because we put here the class center. Then as usual, you will close the body tag. And now we will talk about the CSS ID attribute. So the ID attribute is like the class attribute, but it is more powerful. It can be defined in two ways. It can be defined to match all elements with a particular ID, or to match only one element with a particular ID. and using it to uniquely identify one object on a web page is the most frequent use. The ID attribute CSS syntax. The syntax of the ID attribute is very similar to the class attribute in both the CSS and HTML files. First, we will address how to create an ID in the CSS file, then how to call it in our HTML file. So the ID attribute CSS syntax, writing in ID attribute in your CSS file. That is fairly simple. So here is an example of the CSS syntax ID attribute. So we have to write down like this. So P, then intro. So inside the intro, you will declare the variable like the value and the property. So here the property is the font family, and Arial is the value. Here color is the property, and the rate is the value of the colors property. And you can also write a more global ID by not associating it with a certain tag. So in the example value, we eliminated the p tag. So here, so we can use this one also. Like you just eliminate the p tag, just you put the intro, hash intro, and then inside this you will declare the value and the property. So therefore this ID can be used on any tag if appropriated. Then we have the CSS comments. So CSS comments is actually the one way to use comments well as to identify your CSS code for others to read, to understand the code actually. So basically why we should use the comments, because comments is very important, because if you code, if other people, if other programmer wants to know what your next code actually, which coding or which logic you have used in that specific line. So if you put the comment, then it will be easier for them to understand. So basically when you put a comments like this is the menu link, this is the head link, this is the hyperlink, so you can put like this, just slash then star, and inside the star you will put the comment. So this will display a green color in your CSS file. So like here, this is the CSS, a menu link color red. So we want to display this one. So this one actually, what is this one? This line is actually declared. This is a menu link. This is a menu link. So menu link will be this one. So if you write down any comments, so it will not changes anything in your web page. So this is actually the comments, how we can write our comments in CSS file. So you just put the slash and star, then you just write down the text you want to display, you want to explain them, then star, and then you close it by slash tag again, closing slash tag. Now the common CSS uses. So basically common CSS uses is CSS text properties allow you to control the appearance of text, and it is possible to change the color of a text, increase or decrease the space between characters in a text, align a text, and then decorate a text, indent the first line in a text, and more. Then CSS text is actually on consist of the color, text align, text decoration. There are so many attributes for the CSS text. And then the color is actually the sets the color of an text. And then we have the text align, that align the text in an element, and then text decoration, that adds decoration to the text. Then we have the fonts, CSS fonts, that we have so many fonts: font family, font weight, font size, font style. Font family is actually declares the chooses the look of the font. Then font weight is actually sets the weight of the font, like bold or not the bold single line. So So we just have to use this extension, I mean this attribute, font tag, font family, font size, font style. So font style is actually sets the size of the fonts, like which font you want to display your content. Then we have the font style that sets additional style of a font. Then we have then here you can see there are several types of declaration for font family, declaration for font weight, declaration for font size, declaration for font size, then declaration for font style. Like we want to display the font into Arial font family, Arial types of font. Then we want to display the font bold weight. Then we want to size our font in 12 pt. Then we want to style our font italic style. So this is italic is actually value, 12 pt is value, bold is value, Arial is value, and the font family, font weight, then font size, then font style is actually the property of the declaration. So this is actually the basic introduction of the CSS. Then we now we will introduce with the Bootstrap color. So Bootstrap basically a limited color. So if you want to design your website more attractive, so you have to use the Bootstrap. Basically Bootstrap color as used, Bootstrap is actually used the limited color combination. So Bootstrap has the limited color. So in the Bootstrap the color is the BJ primary, then secondary, then success, then danger, then warning, and then info, and then light, and then dark. So if you want to change your background color into blue color, so you have to put the BJ primary. If you want to display your background color in gray color, so you have to put the BJ secondary. Green is for BJ success is for the green color. So basically there are some individual names in Bootstrap to display your content, different types of color. Danger will declare the color into a red color. Warning is for the yellow types color. So if you want to change your color, if you want to change your background color into yellow color, so you have to put the BJ warning, not BJ yellow. So you have to remember the color code name. So this is the color code of the Bootstrap website. So basically in the Bootstrap website, like this one, I have used the Bootstrap color, Bootstrap CSS. So basically Bootstrap uses limited color, limited CSS framework. So this very shortest way to design a website using Bootstrap. So Bootstrap is very similar or very simple or very easy way to declare the CSS file. So they actually uses shortcut of CSS file or CSS extension. So if you want to display your background color into black, then you put the BJ dark. Then we have the Bootstrap text color. Also text, you just change the BG to text. If you want to change the text color, you just put text primary, that is for blue color, text secondary, that is for the gray color. You just put text success, that is for the green color text. You put the text warning, that is for the yellow texting color. You put text info, that is for the blue color of the text. So this is how we have to put in our text editor. Then actually without the HTML, what actually the without the CSS, how HTML is look like. Without the HTML, how actually CSS without the CSS, how actually HTML is look like. HTML without CSS is like a piece of candy without a pretty wrapper. So basically, without CSS, typically flow from top to bottom of the page and position themselves to the left by default. And with CSS help, we can create containers or div is to better organize content and make a web page visually appealing. So basically, CSS is very important for you to design a website, for you to display your website into your web browser. So CSS actually very much important, because without the CSS your website will look like a white and black and white. It will be totally turned into white and black if you don't use the CSS. Here is an example of the without CSS and with CSS website. So in the left side, you can see that without the CSS, the website will be look like this, like all the just blue color, sorry, just white color and the black color. Yeah, and there will be also the link that as always will display into the green color. So without CSS, your website will be look like this, just only black and white color. And with website, you see how the website is look like so attractive. So that CSS is very important for your web browser. And HTML, CSS work together to produce beautiful functional websites like this. So here they have used HTML and CSS together to more the website attractive. HTML is actually the structure. So this is actually the structure, and CSS is actually the style. So this is the style with the structure. So this is very acceptable. This is the acceptable. So now we will go to our, now we will design a website. We are going to design a website, not website, is actually the front page, like the home page. We are going to design this home page. So I will show you step-by-step procedure for this, for designing the website using CSS. So first of all, what we need to do, first of all, we have to create a folder. Like I have created a folder named CSS website module. Then you put the image that you want to display in your web browser, like this one, the background picture. I have used the a picture of a female. Then you will save a file for the index.html that will be display your content to your web browser. Then you will put, or you will create a logo, that is the PNG logo I have created, like to logo I have put it in the left side. So this is the logo. So I created the logo also. And then style, that is style.css. So in here we will combine all the codes in here, all the CSS code. So this is very important. So this is the home page of a website. So we are going to do like this. So this one. So now I already created a folder, that is CS. Okay, now we will run it. Okay, you see without the CSS, it is like just a black and white website. So it's not look nice. So now we are going to do now we are going to do some CSS here to look the website nicely. So first of all, so this website we are going to design using CSS. So first of all, we put here the logo, we put here the background color. So background image, I set up this one. Then you have to combine all the file in one folder. Without, if you do it separate, it will not display properly. So in the style.css, we will going to code. Okay, first of all, we will put the star. Then we will create a padding and margin for our website, for our home page. So you put the second bracket, and inside the second bracket, you will do the padding. I put the padding 0, then margin. I put the margin also 0. Then I put the wrapper. So here we are going to display our background color, background image. So for this, what we have to do? For this, we will put the background. So here is the URL of our image. So here bg1. Here you can see our image name is bj1.jpg. So this one is our background picture. So now I put an object of no repeat. Now in the next line, I will set up the background size. Background size, that will be cover size. Then height, I'm going to create an height. Height will be actual VH. Then we are going to design our navbar. Okay, inside the navbar, we will do the position of the navbar. Position, fixed position. I'll set up this one will be fixed position. Then height of the navbar 80 px. Then the width, I'll set up the width. It is 100%. Then I will set up, this will be in the top side, the navbar. 0. Left side will be also the 0 size. Now background. We'll set up background color. So that will be black color, and then we set up the navbar logo. dot logo. So inside the logo, I will set up the logo width will be actual 140 px. Then height will be auto. And padding will be 20 px, 100 px. Set up the UL. Inside this one, we want to display this in float right side. Then margin right side will be 20 px. I set up. .NET UL and listing. That will be list style. I set up this one, none. None, then margin. Then display will be styling inline block. Inline block I set up. Then the line height. Set up the navbar listing a. Here I put the font size will be 20 px. Then font family will be sun size. Sunset is font size, font family. Sans serif. Then the color will be white. And then padding will be 6 px and 13 px. Double will be 13, some little bit bigger. Okay. Then the text decoration, I will set up this none, because I don't want to set up any decoration. Then I will set up this one will be goes on the transition. Now we will see. Okay, now you see. So here we have to. Okay. Okay, now we will design in the middle. Now another neighbor. Dot setup. This one is active. Over. I will put here the background red color. Then border, I'll set up the border, that is radius 2px. I'll set up the position absolute. It will go to the left side. Set up this one. Top will be a little bit bigger than this. Transform. Percent. Then font family setup. This one. Then font. Will be none. Then we want to display in the center. Display size will be H1 heading. Then the color will be white. Font size will be, you can put it 70 px. We can set up font weight. So I want to set up this bold. To okay, so bold. Then I will set up the text align. Text align. That will be center. Center text align. Then we are going to design another heading to color. Margin top into, okay, this one margin top x. And to set up the width now for the center element, heading element, width will be similar to 900 px. Now we are going to design our button. So that will be, button will be in the center. Button. Margin 35 px I set up. buttons. Now we are going to design our button. We're going to resizing height. We are going to add height, width, font size, font family, font weight, color, background. So first of all, going to do the height of our buttons. Set up 50 px. Then the width. I'm going to set up this, the double, then double. Font size. Now font weight. To set up font weight. Okay, this one. Now background. To read. You have to put the outline for the buttons. I want to set the button as a pointer. That will be look more nice. Then the border have to put solid. Border radius will be 25 px. I want to set up. Then I want to add the transition. Now I want to set the button attribute. That will be margin layer. Now the last one, the button hover. This one. Now save it. So this is actually the CSS for our website. Now let's see it. Okay, you see, so this is the website we were going to design. So this is the website. You can also change the color also. So I put here the button color yellow and the button background color is red. So we can also change the color also. If you wish to change, then you can also change. So like I want to change the background color, this color. So okay, so you can see the background color has changed. The background color has changed into pink color, from red color to pink color. So this is how we can code using the CSS. So what you need to do, you need to do the padding, margin, then the background color, then the background picture you can add, then the background size, then the position, height, width, top, you want to set up it in top side or left side, and then background color, and then you have to put the never logo, then you set up specific for the never logo. So this is actually the specific file, the specific class, that is never, and that is the never, the center, will it go to the center or left or right, then the center element, center content, then the buttons. So we have to put the individual class for the button CSS, then you design the button inside the button. So this is how you have to uh, code your CSS file. You have to code your CSS file. So this one, you can also change, you can also delete this one, create something new. Okay, so just welcome to initial. So I deleted this one. So this is how we can design our website. Anyone wants to try now? Anyone wants to try? So you guys can try now. You can also follow the CSS tutorial. You just simply go to the W3 school. This is very good website. This is very useful and very documented website for the CSS, HTML, SQL, PHP, JavaScript, Bootstrap. There are so many tutorials. So you can also follow this one, the CSS file. So there are so many CSS attribute CSS tutorials. So you can follow this one. Anyone wants to try? Oh, not now. Why not now? You can try and you can tell me what's You can ask me the question if you don't understand. Anyone wants to try? If I give you 20 minutes, anyone wants to try? Microphone not working. Okay, so you can text there. Want to try at home? Why at home? You can try now. If you want to try now, then I can be able to see what's your problem, which part you didn't understand, so that I will teach you more clearly. Everyone wants to try at home. Okay, so nobody want to try now? No. You can also you can just explore the CSS file, I mean CSS documentation in W3 School. There are so many tutorial based on the CSS. There is CSS syntax, CSS selector, CSS background, CSS image, CSS attachment, background attachment, CSS border, margin, padding, height, then CSS box model, CSS outline, how we can make an outline in CSS, then CSS icons, link, list, tables, position, overflow, flow, inline block, align CSS, CSS pseudo class, CSS pseudo element, CSS navigation bar, CSS dropdown. So many tutorial here. So you just explore there and try there. So nobody wants to try now. Have you installed the software? Oh, okay. So many of you are using Notepad, right? Okay, Notepad also you can use. Yeah, you can also use the Sublime text editor. So you just create a file for the css.css, and then the html.html file, that is HTML extension, and then run your code from your HTML file, and then link your CSS file to your HTML body. So nobody want to share? You can try. Everyone want to try at home. Okay, I think that's all for today. So tomorrow we will have our third ICT training, that is introduction to PHP. So by using PHP, I have designed my Bootstrap database. So tomorrow I'll focus on the database. So hope you guys will enjoy today. I hope all of you guys will come tomorrow ICT training. So till then, goodbye.